This is my Amaryllis collection. Well, post-bloom, as you can tell, there's another two at my feet, and it's time to give a little bit more TLC. I filmed already a video about basics for care, so now it's step 2. There's a couple of things I'll be doing to make sure I get more blooms next year. Let's get started! So I had a couple of varieties here. I think this was Amaryllis Samba. It was a beautiful red and white variety, and the rest is white. And I'm not sure of the exact variety. I'll pop a picture on the screen. I think this was Mont Blanc, and this was Ice Queen, a beautiful white double bloom. And I even got a little baby out of one of them. I'm going to repot those into plastic containers and hold them for the season. So what you want to do now is make sure you keep watering them, keep them in a bright spot, and also give them regular fertilizer. And this way the plants will continue growing, the bulbs will continue to grow, and then we can start that cold cycle again to get blooms again around Christmas time next year. Don't forget to label your plants, really important. So I need those, I need a bit of compost. Well, I'm not sure what happened with this one. Looks like it got too much moisture and then not enough, but it's really resilient. It's pushing some leaves out, so I'm going to repot it. So when you repot Amaryllis, you don't want to bury the entire bulb because it's really important that no water and dirt comes into the neck of the bulb to avoid rot. And you want to bury about 2/3 of the bulb into the soil. Headshot. Amaryllis like to be root bound, so I'm just transferring them in a pot that's just a little bit bigger than the previous pot they were into, but still rather small, just so that they can have that nice root bind effect and they thrive just a lot more when they're like that. And then you just backfill again. I've showed that already, but you just backfill carefully and try to not put any soil into the neck of the bulb. These were also a new addition this year. Same beautiful white bloom, the green center. Look at those roots! It's really super handy to keep pots at hand when you buy bigger perennials or bigger plants at the garden center or anywhere else, just so that you have repotting material on hand and you can recycle. Ooh, this one, I don't know if you can see the root popping out. It's really time to be repotting them. I had placed a little bit of frost guard at the bottom of the pot to avoid to lose too much soil. So I live in a growing zone 8 in the southeast of the UK. So right now there's still a chance of frost until mid-May, I would think. So I'm probably going to keep those either in the potting shed or in my cold frame, and these should be fine. If you live in an area where it's still very cold at this time of year, I would recommend keeping them in your home and maybe doing that process a little bit later on when you're ready to be able to leave those outdoors to grow on in the sun. Alright, just a few more. Root bound much. Make sure you put the roots at the bottom, towards the bottom, of course. I really love Amaryllis. I know they just bloom for a couple of weeks of the year, but it's just minimum effort to keep them happy, and it's just such a blessing to have those beautiful blooms in the winter time. Alright, I have another 2 here. These actually are my first 2 Amaryllis bulbs that I ever bought. I got them a couple of years ago, and they bloomed for me last summer and then the Christmas before. Don't know if I had showed you that, but I just prepared like a little winter vignette. I had little mushrooms there, and then all those little pine cones and like little pieces of wood. It was really cute. Now it's time to take all of that apart, and I'm going to be able to reuse and save some of those pieces for future displays. This one actually just bloomed. It was my last bloom of the season. So if you time those well, actually they can bloom a little bit longer than Christmas time. You can get those a bit earlier in the season, in November, and then stretch those all the way to Valentine's Day and even March, depending on when you either plant them for the first time or start them up again. Let me clean up and then I'll apply some fertilizer and take you through the next steps. Oh, forgot my little baby. This was a little baby from another one of those bulbs I just repotted. Super cute. It's been growing on really well. It's already doubled in size compared to a couple of months ago. Look at those roots. Now that I've repotted all the Amaryllis, I want to fertilize them. So I'm going to give them some pelletized fertilizer that lasts a long time and will have enough nutrient power to last for a couple of months. Well, as always, when you use fertilizer or any products in the garden, of course, read the label. And this says for temperatures around 21 degrees, there's a 7 to 8 months release. And for temperatures around 10 degrees, 14 to 18 months. So I think what I'm going to do, because those are quite small containers, that just I'm going to sprinkle 1 little scoop around like this and then scratch it in the soil and then water on top. Well, that should keep these happy for well, a year or a really long time at least. So what you want to do now is maybe scratch in that fertilizer into the top layer of soil just so that it doesn't fly off everywhere. So that's it. Everyone has been fertilized, watered in, and now I'm going to keep these in a frost-free place, and then in the summertime leave them outside. They may bloom or they may not, and then typically you have to reach your plant. So if you want blooms by Christmas, those Amaryllis take between 4 to 6 weeks to bloom. So you need to be ready by end of October with blooms that are either potted up or that have been triggered for reblooming. So it means that towards the end of the summer, you have to start placing those in a cooler space. So that's it for now. I'll give you an update later on in the summer and show you if I get any blooms. And then when I get ready to trigger new blooms for the Christmas season, I'll show you that process as well so you can follow along if you want to get your Amaryllis to rebloom as well. I hope this was helpful and we'll see you next time. Bye! Starting to rain! Making such a mess every time I'm doing this.